I'm not a scientist or a meteorologist or anything like that. I'm just an average guy, a layman observer, who woke up to this horrible reality. And ever since, I've been trying my best to warn my fellow human beings about what's going on in their skies. I've been putting up banners on the roadsides, newsletters, phoning in mainstream media, just like Alan was talking about solutions. Most of the stuff that he's talking about solutions there, I've been doing myself. So just trying my best to get the word out. I've been pretty much a voice in the wilderness where I'm from in Wexford, because there's not a whole lot of people that are awake to what's going on there. So in the last 6 months I came in contact with Mona here, and Max, and Alan, and Ben Dodds, another presenter as well. And it's really exciting now, because I'm starting to focus my energies into something really positive. We've all got one big operation here together. We've got so much, everybody's got so much passion, so much information. It's just so much more positive being involved with a load of other people, like-minded people. So yeah, I'm going to start off the presentation first of all by explaining the difference between a chemtrail and a contrail. The definitions I'm going to go into, just like Alan done on Wikipedia. If you Google chemtrails Wikipedia's definition is the chemtrail conspiracy theory holds that some contrails left by aircraft are chemical or biological agents deliberately sprayed at high altitudes for purposes undisclosed to the general public in clandestine programs directed by various government officials. So it's considered to be a conspiracy theory and nothing more. Okay, if you Google, however, on the other hand, geoengineering is the deliberate and large-scale intervention of the Earth's climatic system with the aim of reducing global warming. So they're selling it under the cover story that global warming is that geoengineering is the answer to global warming. Basically, they talk about reflecting the sun back out to space, which they call solar radiation management. This is why they want to create the cloud cover. The idea is to reflect the sun back out to space, and carbon dioxide removal as well. That ties into the whole global warming fraud as well, which I don't think I'm going to have time to touch on in this presentation. So solar radiation, yeah. So it's basically reflecting the sun back out to space. Okay, that's basically the main reason why they say they're doing it. That's the cover story. Like, they have a cover story. And when I say they, I'm talking about the elites, the bankers. I'm going to go into exactly the US Department of Defense admissions and declassifications on chemtrailing now. But they say that, yeah, basically they need a cover story. Just like when they put the fluoride in water in Ireland, they need a cover story to say it's for your teeth. So it's a good story that they can sell to the public. So with the geoengineering, they say it's to protect us from global warming. And they know that most well-meaning people that don't want the Earth to be destroyed by climate ravages of climate change, most people will buy into it. This is what they were hoping when they came up with this whole hoax. But thankfully, people are waking up. What photograph player did you use?
I think it was.
Oh, yeah, there it is. Okay, I won't spend too much time on chemtrail, contrail. I think you're all pretty familiar with that. Basically, that's a contrail. Okay, just a little thin white line in the sky as the plane is going by. That will just disappear after a couple of seconds, 20 seconds, 30 seconds. That's the way they always used to be when I was growing up. I'm 38 years of age, up till about 15 years ago. That's the way they would have always been. Still, some days you might see that up in the sky. An odd time you might see a normal contrail. But the best part of the time they are spraying what results in these things here. Just wide, fanned out cloud banks. Basically, they start off with a little bit thicker than that, and they just widen out until they merge with neighbouring chemtrails and create an artificial haze, like as we're all very familiar with from Alan's photographs. Okay, and as a result of a lack of sunlight, because of all of these artificially created clouds, the Earth is obviously darkened. NASA have confirmed that the Earth is darkened by 20% in the last 15 years. That's also the same time ago, the same time span since this program started. So that's pretty obvious that it's directly related to geoengineering. And also because of the lack of sunlight now, we see so many different diseases around the rise. Rickets is back, it hasn't been around in so long. That's a lack of vitamin D.
And the statistics for that, in 1987, they started to go up fivefold since 1997.
Yeah.
So again, it's around the time the program started, rickets went up fivefold since those programs started.
Exactly.
So again, it's
So,
another telltale sign.
yeah, around mid-late 90s is when the program actually officially started.
Yeah.
So, so you see rickets is on the rise. You got crop failures. You got, like in Ireland last year, now we had loads of blight. That's due to lack of sunlight and moist weather and all that as well. So it's going a treat. Like all of this cloud cover is really working well. The crop failures are going well.
Yeah.
Now we have genetically modified blight-resistant seeds that Monsanto have miraculously introduced to Ireland only last year.
What a coincidence!
Yeah, brilliant, perfect timing, you know. But there was one county, a trial county, County Carlow, where they where they carried out the first test, the first crop. So there was uproar amongst a lot of farmers. The farmers over there, a lot of them are waking up to GMO, but they don't know really the whole program, how this ties into the GMO agenda, and how they're using the problem from the weather that they're creating to poses the saviours with the solution.
Absolutely.
So that's why it's so important that we reach out to as many farmers as we can.
That's what I keep saying. Farmers,
that's a big chunk of the population, man. You know,
that's what I've been
these
thinking.
guys knew what was going on here. They've got a lot of clout, man. They're a very powerful community. You know,
wow, right.
So we need to reach out to these guys. Approach gardeners and all that, nurseries. Just ask people, you know, have you noticed like the landscape is brown and barren and it's nearly summertime?
Yeah.
You know, just make videos, document this stuff, and reach out to as many people as you can with this information, you know. But so yeah, okay, so that's true lack of sunlight. Okay, I'm going to go into. Excuse me, I'm not that used to this computer here now, so. Okay, who is behind it? Well, we know that the Department of Defense in America have written out this feasibility study called Aurora Flight Sciences. This is a geoengineering cost analysis final report. It's an 87-page publication, and it's very scientific, very in-depth. It's not something that some guy wrote out in his bedroom or anything like that to okay, introduction. What is geoengineering? Introduction to this study. Chemistry considerations affecting dispersal. Geoengineering concepts of operations. It just goes on and on. I'm going to go through a couple of pages, but now I'm not going to spend too much time on it in the interest of time. But as Mona said, if you leave your email addresses, I'll send you all on the links that I'm showing you here now. Okay, here it is, just the executive summary. Geoengineering has been defined as the deliberate large-scale manipulation of the planetary environment to counteract anthropogenic climate change. Anthropogenic meaning man-made. Okay, so that's the purpose of geoengineering, according to the Department of Defense. This is a yearly total cost comparison. We talk here 1 million tons. They're relating to the tonnage of different particles and aerosol agents that they're going to be that they intend releasing. They don't exactly go into the type of chemicals, but they say that they're going to be releasing 1 million tons a year at a cost of 10 million per aircraft. The types of aircraft and all are going in there. There's different methods how they intend to release it apart from aircraft as well. They talk about rockets, gas pipes, slurry pipes, putting balloons up to the atmosphere, getting funnels and all that pipes going up to it. All sorts of different proposals there. But that just goes on and on for 87 pages. Okay, so that's a Department of Defense publication. Now also, the House of Commons have released also a publication called the House of Commons Regulation on Geoengineering.
That's on the table, by the way, if anyone wants to look through that
Okay.
document. That's on the table back there.
Okay. the summary there. Geoengineering describes activities specifically and deliberately designed to affect a change in the global climate with the aim of minimizing or reversing anthropogenic climate change. So it's they concur the same reasons that they are proposing this as the Department of Defence.
In that document as well, they admit that they're doing the tests in secret and that a ban would be unenforceable because so many tests that are going on are done in secret, they can't ban it. And they also say that because of their document, it should be allowed. And it's right there highlighted in the document back there, pointing out that they do the tests in secret and they said they should be allowed.
Because they're saying they can't ban it.
Yeah, they can't ban it, it's too hard because everything's done in secret, so they couldn't ban it. Absolutely, yeah. Yes, they say their own documents that it's done in secret.
Yeah. Okay, here's photographs that are online of the spray planes. These were I got these from a chemtrail debunking site. The cover story to be able to sell these photographs on the net basically is that these tanks here are ballast tanks. They're full of water, and it's for test flights. So. But you have a look at these here, right? You got pipes connecting all these here. You got different numbers. Why would they be connected with pipes if it's just for ballast? You'd imagine they just place one at a time. Why would they need to have them all interconnected? Why would they have different numbers on the different kegs and what have you?
Has anyone contacted an airport to ask what they say about
I've been on to some friends of mine that work in the aviation industry that are engineers and that, and they have never heard of test flights with this kind of stuff in it. I haven't been able to get confirmation. That's what I've been saying in all the presentations. So if anybody knows anybody in the aviation industry that could confirm this.
The stuff getting delivered to the airport.
Exactly. You know, how is it getting in there? You know, beyond airport security.
They're delivering this stuff.
Yeah.
I think
Gotta
they
be.
do,
Unless it's flown in.
Yeah.
Flown in.
Yeah, they do compartmentalise like that. I heard they do switch from country to country. So America will deal with England's one and England will deal with another one. Yeah, it's got to be so compartmentalised. Yeah.
There's a smaller private jet there now, kitted out again. Right. You can see that? I don't know what's going on. There's something going on with Zoom here. Well, can you see that? I can't really make it out. Do you not zoom out on this?
You mouse over it.
Oh yeah, here we go. Here we go. You see it. But anyhow, basically it's this carriage anyhow with all sorts of tanks being brought into the plane there. That's a military jet as well there. Photograph here of a spray cone nozzle. Again, this has been sold as forestry fires and all that kind of stuff. Maybe it is, maybe it's not. I don't know. I just want clarification, what answers. I'm not an expert in the aviation or anything, you know.
But the nozzles can be, if they're designed to deal with fluid, they can be so easily, adapted.
Exactly. Yes. Of course.
This morning, de-agglomerators, they're called.
The what?
They're called de-agglomerators. I just looked it up this morning about the nozzles, and I found the paperwork behind how it's to hold the particulates in suspension till it's ready.
Okay. Okay. When I heard this first, obviously all about chemtrailing, government involvement and all this, first of all, it's very hard to fathom. It's very hard to accept that your government is complicit in such a sinister activity. But the more I looked into it, I started realising that this is not actually a new thing. It's not a new thing. It's been going on for quite a while. And here's a news report from BBC Spotlight back in the 1990s, declassifying exactly the deliberate aerosol spraying of the population of Dorset in England. So we'll go ahead with this.
It can tonight reveal the true extent of germ warfare tests carried out in the southwest. Government documents show much of North and South Devon and parts of Somerset were used for experiments similar to those conducted off the Dorset coast during the 1960s.
An independent inquiry has already been ordered into the Dorset trials to determine whether or not they've affected people's health. In a few minutes we'll be speaking exclusively to the man in charge of this inquiry. But first, our environment correspondent Simon Hall has this special report which includes film of the trials never previously seen on television.
The germ warfare trials carried out in the 1960s and 70s were highly secret. This previously unreleased film of the experiments as they happened. Their existence was revealed last year when secret documents were declassified. They were thought to be carried out mainly in Dorset. A spotlight investigation has, though, discovered they were far more widespread than was previously thought. Other trials tested how the germs would survive in different conditions in different areas. These were based not on releasing a gas, but instead on exposing a narrow thread of material coated with E. coli to the air. These tests were carried out in January 1967. The threads were exposed first from a ship just off Ilfracombe, then on 5 other sites, running through Somerset down to the sea off Dorset.
I think the people, when they come to hear of this, will be concerned. For instance, I was in my 20s at this time, in the 60s, and I was just getting married, starting up a family. They'll be worried, will this have any implications on their health or the health of their children?
Concerns have been raised that the tests may have harmed people's health. In East Lulworth, in Dorset, 21 families say they have experienced miscarriages and children being born handicapped and with other health problems.
Okay, that report goes on for about 6 minutes, but you get the gist there, so I'll send that on to you as well. Now, there's a documentary online on YouTube. It's called Clouds of Secrecy. It's a an hour documentary, and that goes into great detail about that. So that's a news report there. So it's, I mean, what more evidence would you need? You know, it has happened before.
Excuse me, that guy who's on that clip there. You tried to find where he is now?
No, I haven't. No, I only made this presentation up last minute, and I actually. Sorry?
Yeah. Maybe he's dead now.
Oh yeah.
Because of,
well, it wouldn't be unusual. He probably died of cancer a few weeks later or something.
Yeah, or knocked off, you know.
Yeah.
So we tried to find. Go to Lawton for years. No, it's yeah.
Yeah, so we know we're spraying the particulates, so all we need to do is look up in the sky, observational evidence, just like Alan was talking about. The reasons they're doing this, it's multifunctional. I don't know of all the reasons. I know they're manipulating the weather, I know we're all getting sicker, I know the sunlight is getting less all the time, and crops are failing and all this, so it's a huge, big program to basically, I think, you know, get control of the food supply and take control of our health and just have us weak and helpless and hopeless and all this kind of thing.
Yeah,
so
definitely.
21.
Yeah,
Definitely.
So, and you know, when you say weather manipulation, people they think like, oh my God, that's science fiction, you know, but it's actually not science fiction. It's science fact. It's been going on for a long time. And I've got another video here from American television. This guy, he's in the business of making rain. He's actually a rain maker. And if you go online, you can get any amount of weather modification companies. These companies are widespread around the world. Beijing Weather Modification Company's got 38,000 employees.
You can pay them.
You can pay them
to modify your weather.
You can pay them if you own a country, if you own a bloody province or whatever like that, you can pay them to have whatever weather you want.
Yeah.
But anyhow, so here's the clip.
This year marks the worst drought America has seen in decades, and it's showing no signs of letting up. Over half the country has been affected, with the brunt bearing down on the mid and southwest, especially Nebraska, Kansas, the Dakotas, and parts of the south. Just look at that. Well, in one hard-hit area of Texas, some people have grown tired of waiting for Mother Nature to bring relief and have decided to try and take matters into their own hands. Here's ABC's Juju Chang.
Craig Funky is flying me to the edge of a violent thunderstorm.
You see how nice and crisp the top of that cloud is up there?
Yeah. But the former commercial pilot isn't some adrenaline junkie courting danger. He's a cloud seeder, chasing this menacing storm to squeeze out extra rain for the drought-stricken farmland below.
As a pilot going through school, you're taught to avoid thunderstorms.
This is Craig's job, firing chemicals into the clouds in a controversial attempt to modify the weather. He's literally a rainmaker.
That dark, thick cloud over there has lots of moisture in it.
That's part of the cloud that was seeded. It actually looks heavy with rain.
Cloud seeding has been used around the world for decades, but it's now getting a closer look as farmers desperate for solutions endure their 4th month of record-shattering drought with no end in sight. It's actually the largest drought in half a century, responsible for rising food prices and record wildfires. It's even suspected to be a cause for the recent surge in cases of West Nile virus. So we came to South Texas to find out if cloud seeding can really maximize our most precious resource, or if it's just a romantic notion that doesn't hold water.
We can't manufacture cloud. That is just absolute basic. We cannot make it rain if it was not going to rain to begin with.
Tommy Shearer is president of the Texas Weather Modification Association. He's quick to explain that he can only enhance the weather, not create it.
If you look at the cloud as a factory, we're inducing a lot of raw material into the factory so that the factory becomes more efficient.
And more productive.
Consequently more productive.
His team of pilots and meteorologists are constantly scanning the skies for the right clouds to see.
Well, everybody's going to get some good rain.
After 10 bone-dry days, a promising cluster of thunderstorms is finally headed their way. Butch is today's standby pilot. He takes the first run. Up in the air, we get a bird's eye view of Butch's delicate dance.
He's just working the very edge of it.
And then Butch finds the cloud sweet spot.
Okay, he's fixing to light a flare.
Oh, I see the flare.
Yeah.
It looks like he's painting the sky.
The flares are shooting millions of silver iodide and calcium chloride particles into the cloud, where they collide with drops of water and ice and produce even more moisture. Then, usually within 20 minutes...
So what is this white smoky stuff over here?
That's rain.
Oh, that's rain.
Yeah, that's rain.
Okay, and I'm also going to send you on a video of a snowmaker in Australia, a guy that can actually go out with spraying silver iodide particles and create snow in like drifts all around the place. And when you know this is going on, when you know this is not science fiction, it's science reality, you can see the weather phenomena that have been happening recently. You can actually see that this has actually been man-made. I've been even looking at the snow, it's fallen, and it looks synthetic, it looks like stuff from a movie set or something. You know, it doesn't have that geometric structure that snowflakes would usually have, you know. So yeah. Okay, so they're manipulating the weather, creating crop failures. The sun is not getting through, and as a result of the sun not getting through, the media are working overtime trying to normalize lack of sunlight. You can see it very subtly in adverts, in television programs. You can see, okay, I'm just going to... First of all, there's a couple of ads here that I got from the television. One of them is in Ireland, the other is over here. Of the way they're trying to normalise lack of vitamin D. Basically telling us that we can now get our vitamin D in a pot in a supermarket. Yogurts, milk, all sorts of stuff. This is all new. This is all the new normal.
Yeah.
Never ever got vitamin D from milk.
Then, isn't it? Telling you that you're lacking it, but take it this way.
Yeah, and they will give you supplements as well. Supplements are no good. You need vitamin D3 for a start, but even D3 is not even good enough without proper enzymes to kickstart this stuff. Sorry?
This is a money maker.
Oh yeah, of course. Well, nothing can replace God's creations. I mean, we all know that. I mean, anything synthetic is not going to be any replication. They're trying. Exactly, you know.
But they will fail.
Yeah, exactly. Right, here's one of the ads. Just notice what's said at the end of this ad, very subtly.
Do you get enough vitamin D? New Calin Plus. The
only yogurt from your...
Can you hear that? Where's the volume on that?
Okay, try that.
Do you get enough vitamin D? New Parent Plus. It's the only yogurt from your place to bring 100% of the daily needs in vitamin D in one single box. And it's so good.
New Parent Plus. Calcium plus vitamin D for strong bones.
You should try it too.
Good morning.
Okay, so you get the message. It's just advertising that you can get vitamin D in milk. Okay? Right? So you don't need the sun anymore. You just go to the supermarket and problem solved. Here's another one. This is from Irish television.
You give your kids milk for healthy growth with calcium for strong bones and teeth. But they also need vitamin D to absorb calcium. Just one glass of Avonmore Super Milk a day gives them all the vitamin D they need. Avonmore Super Milk. Let your little heroes shine.
Brilliant, isn't it? That's it. Done. Job done.
Got Chembo there.
Sorry?
Yeah,
Was it?
Chembo.
Really?
Yeah,
Oh, I missed that. I didn't see that. Hang on there. No, I didn't notice that.
Like 2 seconds.
Right at the end, yeah?
Yeah, right at the end. It's like Chembos and the
There we go.
graphics. Pause it, look. Chembo there. Sunshine. Reference to sunshine and then Chembo around it.
That's
programming.
Yes. Again, you know, you just keep picking up different things all the time. I never even noticed that now. Like,
They're so subtle, aren't they?
And you see that one there, just going into the lid.
Yeah.
On the
Yeah.
It's part of the art, it's part of the Chembo as well, really, isn't it? The rainbow. It's just there. It's a subliminal suggestion. That that's what you should see when you see the sun.
Wow.
Yeah, normalising the
Just
Chembos.
normalising it, yeah. Again, changing reality, nice and slowly, incrementally through the media. They know that most people are just hypnotised looking at the television and they're not paying attention, just getting all their information from the television, roof over their head all the time. They go outside, they don't even look up anymore.
No,
It's
I
bloody
know, absolutely.
mayhem in disguise.
They work them into the ground because of the monetary system, so they
Yeah.
are bound to that system. It's very difficult for them.
That's how it's all designed,
Break
isn't it?
out,
They're too
yeah.
busy trying to make ends
That's
meet,
it,
bring
yeah.
up kids to even care about this when you bring it up to them.
Yeah.
You're talking about chemtrails, your government spraying it, they just shut off, it's too
Yeah,
much.
yeah.
And I don't blame them, it is too much, you know.
Yeah, I'm totally
All of my family, they're all busy raising kids and they just don't want to know about this. And if they really knew how real it was, man, I know that they would deeply care. They're all really beautiful
absolutely.
people, you know. Here's an old ad. This is a Kellogg's Frosties ad from the 90s. I know it's not that. It's different.
Do anything for the great taste of Frosties.
Where the hell is it?
Drops down. Time slide drops down. That's it there. Click. No, not that one. Next one. To the left. Left. That one. That's it. That shows you the other part of the taskbar. It gets dropped
Still
down.
can't do it. I'll tell you what, I'll open it through VLC player.
Windows 7 drops the taskbar.
Open with VLC.
It's just a new upgrade.
VLC. Right, just notice the sky here. This is back in the 80s. It's just a normal blue sky. Nice fluffy clouds, like the way Mother Nature intended it to be.
Oh boy. People will do anything for the great taste of Frosties.
Okay, and now I'm going to show you a modern day ad. It's not Kellogg's, so I couldn't find the Frosties one. This is Cinnamon Jack, so I never even heard of them. It must be in America or somewhere. But look at this guys here.
Normalising to children. Brainwashing your bloody children.
Introducing cinnamon jacks with also brown sugar and cinnamon.
Scumbags.
Here's an O2 ad. This is an O2 ad from Norway or somewhere. not on the original ad. The text that's coming up underneath is actually not a part of the original ad. Some guy put it up to YouTube, some guy that was awake to what's going on. So that's an O2 ad, and also.
You know, if I was a child and I watched that would freak me out.
Oh, it's freaky. That music is just so bizarre, isn't it?
That's why I got rid of my TV. I don't want a TV in the house with a child, man. They are brainwashing your children through your TV.
Get the TV out, throw it out, just like in the Pink Floyd movie, man. Out
yeah,
that window,
absolutely.
boy.
Get it out of the house, honestly.
Here's a place in the show. What's this?
It's happy music, so they're good trails. Yay!
Actually, I know what he knows that as well. Another Corona.
Kembo.
See that? Wow, I actually never even noticed that as well. Yeah, so.
Yeah, normalising the hazing with the
so just normalising this. So, you know, it's really important that we point these things out to people because when you're talking about this stuff, just one guy, whatever, with a couple of your own homemade newsletters and all or whatever, it doesn't look that credible. But when you start pointing out stuff that's in the television that's intended to change their whole perception of the world, you know, when you start pointing subtle things like this out to people, you know, it's a kind of planting seeds, if anything. Hopefully, it might wake people up.
It will.
You know?
It does.
Yeah.
People realising.
Yeah. But it's so hard to wake people up to this whole thing of geoengineering because it is so big. The whole program is just so overwhelming. To think that your whole planet has been artificially engineered for all the wrong reasons, you know.
It's not easy to hear it.
It's not easy. It's not easy. So I find, well, we're going to talk about solutions and all later on, but I find just less is more when you're talking to people. Don't just like go, they're killing us, and hit them with just little seeds.
I agree.
Little seeds, plant seeds. Those seeds will germinate much more effective. Less is more, I think, you know. So.
Because you start, they always say to you, now why would they do that?
Exactly.
Oh, you don't know where to start.
Exactly.
One thing I find helpful pointing out there is that they don't think like us. They are psychopaths. The people running these programs are psychopaths. They're not good people like us.
Yeah.
They are different to us. So you can't think from your heart like, you know, they don't think from their heart. They think from a profit greed place to themselves.
Yeah.
If you say, well, actually, that's man-made, why would they do that to you?
Yeah. They respond with...
And then
they're psychopaths.
I've got absolutely no idea.
They are
Once you start
psychopaths.
looking into it,
Yeah.
you know.
Whenever people say to me, like, why would they do that? I would say, like, you know, well, why would Hitler have exterminated all those poor Jewish people?
Psychopaths.
Why would Stalin have exterminated 80 million people, or Mao Zedong, or whatever? Like, you know, like psychopaths. People know this. People learn basic, like all the brainwashing history. You know, they learn the basic histories in school. People know that psychopaths always get in control, and they always. The end result is always. The end goal is always annihilation, elimination, extermination.
Absolutely.
So there's nothing new under the sun. That's what I say to people. You know, psychopaths are still in control. They just got rid of the Nazi uniforms and they got nice suits and they're well spoken. They got all their frontmen, government heads, all these puppet politicians. Yeah, all of these people with no empathy as well. Psychopaths, sociopaths. Psychologically profiled to carry out these horrendous tasks of selling these awful agendas to a well-meaning innocent public. But yeah, thankfully people are waking up to them, and that's why it's up to us to just, you know, people know there's something wrong now in the world, you know. An awful lot of people have this just instinctive gut feeling, you know. Turning on the television, they're looking at the same bullshit every day, the same, just another fabrication of the story that they were told yesterday, and they're just, people are so worn out with it all as well, you know. So I really feel people are starting to wake up on a certain level, but they don't know what they're waking up to, and that's our job, to just present this information to them, because they don't know what to do. They don't know how to join dots. They don't even have the dots to join together. They feel powerless and all that. And Max is going to talk about self-empowerment and really how we're the ones that are in control. I'm not saying we're running this planet. This planet belongs to all of us Earthlings, you know. But these psychopaths their time is coming to an end.
Yeah,
and,
definitely.
you know, they know it as well. That's why they're bum rushing their agenda now. They're going hell for leather. You see what's happening in Cyprus and all this with that was just a trial balloon. Daylight robbery, stealing money out of people's bank accounts. You know, people are slowly waking up, and I think the New World Order are actually doing us a favour by the speed, the acceleration of the agenda now, because you know, not everybody is under 100% mind control, thankfully. So.
Did you see the News 24, the BBC News last night?
No, I don't watch
Don't watch the
television
telly.
at all. Actually,
Don't watch
just
any
by
of it.
chance.
They were showing black and white Pathé News footage of the Korean War. And I thought, that's interesting. It's leading you into supposing that war is going to be inevitable.
Yeah,
they just showed this black and
programming.
white footage again and again and again on BBC News 24 last night.
Exactly.
That's why I don't watch it, because they're programming your mind when you watch that crap. So don't watch
You
it.
know what? You have to listen sometimes.
No, I do, yeah. Yeah, you've got to listen to what they're up to, what they're up to, and then you can see what people are actually suffering. Because you can argue the opposite. Yeah, you can see what lies they're pumping out. That's how I justify it. I watch the news. And I just,
Yeah, Wax tells me all about it. And
that's it. Yeah, you have to see what the poor people are having to do.
Mona, how are we doing on time? She's gone.
He's having some
Right. Okay, well, I've pretty much covered everything I was going to cover, but I'm going to go into a little bit into Harp, the Harp facilities around the world. Harp is basically, they are, there's 20 of them around the world. They are an arrangement of antenna-like structures in fields, like big areas, a mile by 2 miles square. Alaska, the biggest one is in Alaska. There's one in Carmarthenshire in Wales, like a
Can you say that again? I can never pronounce it.
Carmarthenshire.
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 Yeah, I knew it was in Wales, but I can't pronounce it.
There's no, so it's easy. Yeah. Mistake there now.
You have to learn Irish.
David Keith.
Oh, actually, sorry. Before I go into that one select there now. There's another video I was supposed to show you, actually. Sorry about this. A little bit unorganized there. Alright, this was just before I go to Harp, this was a news, an RTE weather report.
Good evening. Another beautiful sunny day today, although fog did linger in a few places. But during the afternoon now, high cloud or so-called chemtrails built up. This line of wispy clouds produced by the condensation trails from really artificial clouds produced by the exhaust fumes from aircraft. And we do have quite a lot of those in the sky tonight. But generally, due to the very high pressure sitting right over Ireland and still high pressure very much in evidence tomorrow, and very slack winds, those winds circulating in a clockwise direction about the 10th area of high pressure. It's slightly to the west on a sunny day.
It's Windows Vista. I'm used to XP. I'm bringing my own laptop on the next trip tonight. Windows 7. Okay. Right, here we go.
Drops, it's in that thing there.
Right, 2 clip. There we go. Yeah.
Good evening. Well, another beautiful sunny day today, although fog did linger in a few places. But during the afternoon now, high cloud or so-called chemtrails built up. This line of wispy clouds produced by the condensation trails from really artificial clouds produced by the exhaust fumes.
Artificial clouds produced by the exhaust fumes. Okay, this lady must be 40 years of age plus. Okay, she's gone through med school like for 10 years, whatever, like this. That can't have been taught 20, 30 years ago, that exhaust fumes from aircraft produced cloud cover. So I don't know whether she's been paid off or whether she has been compartmentalized. I don't know. Sorry?
Drunk by the
Yes, definitely, most probably.
It's not coming from my mind, is it?
I gave her a bottle of whiskey before she went on air.
Yeah. But that's how bad it was that day. They actually had to cover it. But maybe it was just a little bit of normalising it again, putting it into the weather. Oh, you know, they could nearly get away with saying the Starship Enterprise just blacking out Ireland today, and no big deal. Just keep on drinking your fluoride, man. So anyhow, I won't play the rest of that clip. Anyhow, you get the message there. Anyhow.
There's a book called Angels Don't Play That Harp.
Yes.
Get that book. I'll find some stuff about Harp.
Yeah, Nick Begovic, and there's also a documentary on YouTube called Angels Don't Play the Harp. I'll send that on to you as well. Bombshell information.
I can put it all on the website as well.
Yeah, do.
If you give me everything you've got, I'll put it on the website and they can just go
that goes into the mind control aspects of it and all, how we're being manipulated through different frequencies and all this. Like, you can see it today. When we left London today, you could see the sky, you could see all these ripples in the sky, frequency patterns, you know, all the signatures and all that, not normal whatsoever. Harp is at work, it's a silent weapon, and it actually is controlling our minds. I suffer from headaches, get a lot of depression, I get neck pain, and I'm a happy guy. I want to be happy, and I live healthily and all this. But I always know there's something keeping me down all the time. And so when I started waking up to this stuff, everything started to make sense. So that's why I've been like, you know. So anyway, this is the facility in Carmarthenshire in Wales.
It's Tesla technology, isn't it?
Tesla technology, yeah.
Basically,
Nikola Tesla, he was one of the most amazing minds of recent centuries. This guy envisioned so much amazing mathematical equations, but he actually reckoned that he could split the Earth in two. This guy was just like, way out there, like he was way ahead of his time. But he discovered that the ionosphere can actually be manipulated if you send up different frequencies and power voltages and all this. So between all of these array of antennas, this can be turned on, and between all of these, they can send up to 1,000 or 1 billion watts. A bit, yeah. It's just, it's just billions of watts. Like, they can send it up. They can raise the ionosphere, okay, and by doing this, they can redirect the jet streams, that they can keep low pressures and high pressures in places of their choosing. Okay, so this to me would explain all of the strange phenomena now that have been happening in recent years, with birds falling out of the sky like that man was talking about, fish being washed up in mass, like just shoals and shoals of fish. No scientific explanation for it. No, nobody knows what's going on, you know, in the professional world. You know, but to me, this would have heavy involvement in it. It'd have to, you know, I mean, sending billions of watts of power through the sky like that's just common sense. A flock of birds flying into billions of watts, of course they're going to fall out of the sky. Boom, innards liquefied when they hit the ground, you know. You know, there's
no laser beam, really.
Yeah, but there haven't been, like, you hear all the propaganda and they must have hit airplane, the blades of engines or whatever. Why didn't the planes go down?
Fireworks went off, scared them.
Yeah, but they hadn't got lacerations or anything like that. It was all just
Did you hear the article that said about the fireworks scared them and they just dropped out the sky? That was the propaganda they were feeding people.
And you know what? Last week in Ireland, there was a massive show of stuff. Fish, jellyfish, dolphins. There was just loads of different types of sea life washed up mysteriously on the coastline. Do you know what they said it was? It was the strong tides and the heavy gales. The gales.
Burn marks on them.
The gales and wind and strong tides. Okay, billions of years of evolution have brought these amazing creatures to that point where a tide and a bloody storm is going to kill them in mass. Come on.
Terry, they had burn marks on them. They looked
burnt. Sorry, I didn't know that. Did you say they were burnt?
They looked burnt.
They looked burnt.
Like they had skin problems. Like the skin was.
Yeah. So. Yeah, so that's the Harp facility anyhow, and Alan was showing you some photographs there of some unusual skies. I'm just going to show you a frequency pattern from space. Okay, look at that. That's what we seen today, myself and Mona and Max, when we left your house, Mona. Just that, exactly that in the sky, right above London. That was going on, and we were pointing it out to people.
You see them all round. Everyone can see them. All over the place.
Yeah.
That's the sort of skies.
Oh, yeah, even actually here when we came in.
Today, yeah, we see it all
see
the
this
time in
mackerel
Portsmouth.
effect.
We see it all the time.
Yeah. And if you go onto YouTube actually and Google cymatics, have any of you ever heard of cymatics?
Yeah.
Where you get a vibrating train, you can send a certain frequency into it, and you put sand on it or dust particles, and they find these geometrical, beautiful patterns, just like on butterfly wings and on nature's beautiful patterns and all this. So on a small scale experiment like that, can you imagine what they're able to do with vibrations through the air to our minds and everything else? These poor fish and all this.
Yeah. They don't care. They are testing this stuff and they don't care.
Yeah. Okay. Oh yeah. There's a floating harp. This thing. It's like something in a James Bond film. Might you see this? Look at that. Look at the scale. Look, now these tug ships. These are big tugboats, man. They're like about 50 meters long. 40 meters long. That's huge, man. Okay, so that one floats around. They're able to take that all around the place. So I'm sure they like to tie in their whole grid of control of weather manipulation. They have to get some facilities out to sea where there's no land and all that, just to tie in, to fill in the box or whatever like that. Here's the big one in I think it's Alaska. Yeah, that's the one in Alaska.
Huge, absolutely huge.
Yeah.
Imagine the amount of power that comes out of them.
Yeah. But well, they can, and you probably know as well, like they can trigger earthquakes and everything with this thing, like and it's not science fiction either. If you think like what they can do with all of these frequencies and energy, sound waves and all that, if you think of an opera singer and you put a glass, the wine glass, and she can hit a perfect note, and the glass smashes, Very similar kind of stuff, I'm sure, not beyond the bounds of possibility whatsoever. And they can create earthquakes. Like you go up to an old big galvanized shed, these big old farmer sheds. You could shake that. Just little old me could shake that, but the whole thing will oscillate for bloody ages,
You've got people from
So it doesn't take much to create these tectonic shifts. When they're searching for oil, and different things like that, they send down 30 watts of power is all they need to send miles down into the ground. And it comes back up like in the key of G or whatever. Oh, that's crude oil. The key of C, that's kerosene and all this, But that's only 30 watts. Imagine like they're looking down into the ground, like a couple of miles into the ground with 30 watts of power. So what the hell can they do with all these billions of watts bouncing it off the ionosphere, triangulating all around the world? And
you've got people speaking out about how far advanced they are as well. That people say, even people that come from the inside, that they're 50 to 70 years ahead of us technologically.
Oh, yeah.
So they have hidden many space-based weapons or exotic weapons or whatever they've created, and they do not disclose that to the public. So
exactly.
We're behind them.
They have held back human development by at least 100 years. These phones, like that, the phone to me is just, that's sci-fi, okay? The stuff I can do on this is amazing. That's old technology. These guys, we don't know what they're doing. Okay, they got the space station out there for God knows what. Okay,
yeah,
just like the film Moonraker. Okay, they let off a biological weapon on planet Earth. That was the plan, and we're going to procreate with new humans out in the space station for the next generation, basically, while the rest of us just died of whatever mousepox or something like that. That kills 99.9% of all life that it comes in contact with, and that's one of their main weapons against us. They reckon they have that in their their facilities, their bioweapon facilities. Now these facilities that they've got these bioweapons stored in are only very low level. They're not maximum security or anything. They've only like got glass around the walls and all this kind of stuff. Like anybody could drive a car basically through them. There should be underground bunkers. These things should be held in,
Yeah, but, they're almost inviting it, aren't they?
Exactly. Well, that's it. That's it. Like they can set it off, and then it's like a terrorist attack. No problem. It's not them plausible deniability.
And they'll even put it in the newspapers and make it publicised that these things are easily accessible and that anyone could just break in and get it. They put that in the different papers as well.
Exactly.
Anyone could get this stuff. It could cause an outbreak. Of epidemic proportions if just someone got in there and did that, like an invitation. Absolutely.
Yeah.
Exactly.
No, like getting you ready for when it does happen. Maybe out that someone did do it, but
it's just like the earthquakes that or the Fukushima, say. Okay, I know Japan is on it's a very active tectonic area, but all of the nuclear power stations, I believe, are built on fault lines because they planned it all those years ago. So ahead in the future, they could trigger their Harp weapon and create an earthquake. Oh, and also a nuclear power disaster as well, and a fallout and all this stuff. So it's another weapon. Not like everything that they have is weaponized. They use everything as a weapon, is planned ahead. Yeah. So.
Yeah, most definitely.
Yeah. It's all great minds ever that have ever been stolen.
Exactly. I always say that. How dare these bastards? Like these are high IQ psychopaths we're dealing with here. But these guys didn't come up with this technology. They've stolen the knowledge that's taken mankind.
They used it against us.
Yes. Yeah. Like mankind has taken thousands of years to gather up all of this precious knowledge, and they hoard it and they implement it into their scientific.
Imagine the scientists that we don't know about that existed, that they haven't set their minds, that they use it. They never knew existed.
Crazy. Exactly. What they do after World War II, Operation Paperclip, sent all the scientists to America, went underground, built up the New World Order empire and the banking system, corporations. Then you see it rise, and the Fourth Reich is on the rise.
And they took the world over.
5 minutes. Okay. Right, here's a. Sorry?
They can trigger off volcanoes as well.
That's right. The Iceland volcano, same thing. They weren't going along with the austerity. I keep saying and I've been shouting and screaming about it in Ireland for so long. They're the model country that we should all follow in the footsteps of. They said no to the bankers, they kicked them on out of there, they rewrote their constitution and they got their own currency back in place, debt free. And but the New World Order didn't like that. So we'll set off a volcano. Yeah? So yeah. Sure was, exactly, just like in 9/11, you know, it was blue skies for I don't know how long, weeks it went on for. It was beautiful. I was out walking every day and you could see the sky and the sun like always the way it used to be. Right. Here's another unusual sky here.
Very unusual.
Yeah.
Man-made cloud.
Well, unusual depends on who's observing, I suppose.
Quite a tremendous cock-up.
Yeah. Yes, it is. You can see there, it's not that clear, but you can see all the ripple patterns along there.
Like sheets, just sheets of man-made creation.
Yeah. Like, I remember looking at like David Attenborough programs years ago and all, you know, you'd see a shot from space or whatever, never ever seen anything like that.
It's great that you remember, and people have to be reminded that
I can barely, I don't know how I can remember, I'm fluoridated at my head on me. God is looking down and just giving me that little bit of extra gigabytes or something, whatever, I don't know.
Yeah, most definitely. Just have to keep reminding people. And the children, you know, the children won't know what normal skies look like.
No.
Don't get this awareness out there.
Exactly. Alan was showing you holes in the clouds. Look at this one, a big hole punched in through there. Something interfering with that wasn't a flock of birds or anything like that. It's you know, an airplane didn't go through it or anything like that. It's more like a vortex tornado kind of thing. This one. That was taken in New Zealand only a few weeks ago, I think.
That actually is very, very similar. Just after the Chernobyl thing, I was living in St Edward's Road in Southsea, and I saw clouds coming over that looked very similar to big banks that,
I see.
And it was like that, all sort of like, you know.
I'd start running if I seen that.
It's like demons.
But it was very, very similar
I really don't know. I don't know. Like, again, you know, what else would it be? Exactly. How would NASA explain it? I suppose that NASA would just come up with any kind of an explanation, because they are so bold, because they're coming out with the new cloud chart now as well, that we were talking about earlier on, 20-something new types of clouds. It was only 7 when I was going to school. We have the chart here. We'll show you the chart later on. This is the chart. Actually, I have it here. We can see this.
BBC have got this new thing called white cloud, haven't they?
What's that?
It used to say it's cloudy, now they tend to be white cloud.
Right.
Also had that thing about weird weather or something. I can't remember what it's called. Something about weird weather changes or something like that.
There we go. There's the chart there now. NASA cloud chart. That was released a few years ago, and there's all sorts of different crazy looking clouds, all unnatural stuff.
You see the one in the right hand bottom corner there, mostly here in Portsmouth.
Yeah.
That's the one we see a lot here.
Okay,
That's that one a lot.
that's a wave cloud.
Yeah, it's very
formed by
common.
strong.
Very common.
What is it? Oh, I can't even read it. Look at that. M4 altocumulus. M5 altocumulus, M6, M7, M8, it just goes on, and then you got the Cirrus.
Can't come up with original names.
Cirrostratus, Cirrostratus, M1, M4 again. There's one that I'm very familiar with anyhow around where I'm from. This one here, just that metallic, oily, opaque, horrible, just awful looking at. It's just.
So many sunrises look like that. So many of them. You hardly ever see a sun on its own. You mostly see toxic chemicals.
Yeah. So anyway, that's available online as well. Show that to your friends and family. And for God's sake, don't let your children look at this stuff. Obviously, you know. But
sort of say of.
Yeah. What we're trying to do, what myself and Max have been trying to do. Max, there's a video online actually of a girl. She goes into a library to try and find the old 7 clouds in a book. All the pages are ripped out, and she went to the next library, ripped out again. Yeah. So get on a mission as well yourselves. Go into your local library and see if you can find the old 7 clouds. So if you find it, by the way, email it on to me, because I want to make up a double banner with this one, the new ones and the old ones beside it for our tour. Again, this stuff. Really?
Yeah.
Brilliant. Okay, will you photocopy it?
Excellent. Yeah, I can get it now.
It's vital that we show people this stuff, because they really are going for it now. They're trying to normalise this.
The pictures in that book, it's from 1957,
Yeah.
isn't it? Yeah. It looks like Harp.
Yeah.
Jane, can I scan that in?
Exactly.
Jane, can I borrow it, scan it from the website?
And just before I finish up, I believe a picture paints 1,000 words. I got this printed up in Ireland and I brought it over in Hyde Park the other day. A scientist from a professor from the University of Exeter seen this, and he went, boom! It seemed like the penny dropped for him. So he asked us to go and speak at the university. But I'm just saying the power of a photograph, or the power of a picture. You know, you can talk to your blue in the face about different things, but just show somebody that. You don't have to say anything, just show it to them. That's it, you know. So that's it. Anyhow, thanks very much.
Thank
you very much, Terry. We're going to have about a 20